What is going on, everybody? Corey James here, and today I wanted to talk about the pyramids, more specifically the pyramids at Giza, and even more specific than that, the Great Pyramid at Giza. Now, despite decades of research and exploration, to this day, no one has a definitive answer as to what these ancient structures were used for or how they were constructed in the first place, which of course has led to numerous theories and just endless speculation, but no answers. Was it a tomb built for the pharaoh? Could it be the remnants of a pre-human civilization that existed thousands of years prior? Or did the aliens construct it as a power plant? We're going to explore these theories and more to see if we can uncover the true purpose of the pyramids. Let's get to it.
For that, the Great Pyramid, although it's the classic pyramid in the popular imagination, is actually the most unusual. It's a huge anomaly.
Now, before we get into the theories, let's unravel this impressive structure. Rising to a height of 481 feet with the base of 755 feet, the Great Pyramid's exterior consists of 2.3 million limestone blocks, with the lightest weighing around 2.5 tons and the heaviest weighing around 50 tons, with the totality of this structure coming in at a mind-blowing 6 million tons. Encasing the Great Pyramid are what's known as casing stones, an estimated 144,000 highly polished limestone blocks, each cut at a perfectly slanted right angle and flattened so that they fit perfectly together. So perfect, in fact, the variation of difference is only 1/100th of an inch. The interior of the Great Pyramid consists of 3 large chambers: the King's Chamber, Queen's Chamber, and the Grand Gallery. Each one of these chambers was constructed from one of Earth's hardest substances, red granite, with the heaviest of these stones coming in at 80 tons. In addition, scans completed by Egyptologists in recent years have revealed a void above the Grand Gallery, suggesting a possible 4th chamber. However, until further excavation, we don't know. Now, here's the kicker. According to modern accepted theory and the facts and evidence that has been discovered, we know that at the time of the construction of the Great Pyramid, the ancient Egyptians' greatest technology was copper, and they possessed neither the wheel, crane, or pulley system. How the hell did they build this? Well, let's explore those theories, beginning with the one most of us were taught in school, which is the most widely accepted among scholars and experts, and it includes wood, ramps, copper chisels, thousands of men, and according to mainstream scholars and Egyptologists, the Great Pyramid was built as a tomb for the pharaoh Khufu around 2550 BC, and that a ramp of some type was used in the construction of said tomb. However, they are not sure as to what this ramp would have been made from, wood or limestone. In addition, they are unsure as to what type of ramp this would have been, suggesting either a spiral, zigzag, or a ramp that went straight on towards the pyramid. Now, although this is the accepted theory, it still remains just that, a theory. And many scholars, theorists, and even some Egyptologists who disagree with this theory point out the main reason it is still just a theory. And it's because there is really no evidence to support, well, any of it. Let me explain. First, the theory that the Great Pyramid was built as a tomb for the pharaoh Khufu comes from a single, very controversial discovery made back in 1837 by Howard Weiss, when he discovered a small room above the King's Chamber that contained workers' graffiti. Found within this workers' graffiti, Weiss apparently discovered hieroglyphs that read the name Khufu, a pharaoh from the 4th dynasty in the Old Kingdom who, to be perfectly frank, we know absolutely nothing about, because the only piece of evidence we have for his existence is a 3-inch ivory figurine and some statue fragments, as well as a papyrus fragment that vaguely mentions his name as the son or adopted son of the pharaoh Sneferu, which was written by later Egyptian and Greek historians in 300 BC, more than 2,000 years after his reign. As far as the discovery itself, claims from former associates of Weiss, along with the fact that his entire expedition was, up until the point of this discovery, a complete failure, led many to believe that Weiss forged the name, which leads into the next issue of this theory, that the pyramid was built as a tomb. Looking at every ancient Egyptian tomb ever discovered, not only for the kings and pharaohs, but for the high-ranking officials, priests, and queens, we notice one major similarity, and it is the magnificent art and sacred prayers that line the entirety of the tomb, as well as the sarcophagus itself. However, when we look inside the Great Pyramid, we see none of that. In fact, we see nothing at all. No artwork, none of the sacred prayers that according to the expert are absolutely crucial for the pharaoh as they act as a map of the underworld. Next, the theory that the Great Pyramid was built with the use of ramps and manpower alone falls short in a number of ways, with the most obvious being those who actually subscribe to this theory still to this day have yet to explain how it would have actually worked.
My approach to the question was, where are the quarries? What kind of a ramp can you get from the quarry to the pyramid in a functional slope? It's not a problem that's been totally solved, and I've given my suggestions, I've tried to base them in the landscape, but a lot of it is still inference.
Experts point out that using the straight-on approach with a large limestone ramp will only get you so far before you actually do have to use some sort of ramp. In this case, they theorize either a spiral or a zigzag ramp. However, the problem you encounter there is, well, basically physics, because it takes around 10 men to pull 1 ton, and with the average weight of each of these stones around 3 tons, the logistics of 30 men pulling a stone up an inclined ramp that can only be so wide using nothing but wooden rollers, water, and a little bit of rope becomes impossible because, well, how are you going to get around the corners? In addition, you can only fit so many people on a ramp before the sheer volume of manpower makes movement nearly impossible. The other glaring issue with this theory is that even if it was true, we can't prove it because the builders of the Great Pyramid left no records of its construction. In fact, said builders left nothing at all, which according to the experts makes no sense. Let me explain. According to professionals and experts from the field of project management, construction, engineering, and architecture, the first thing you would need in order to attempt a project such as the Great Pyramid are blueprints. Yet to this day, nothing has ever been found. Next, you would need communications, more specifically a way to communicate between long distances. Again, no evidence has ever been found. Next, you would need the materials and tools necessary for the project, or in today's terms, a distributor, someone you have to contract to fabricate exactly what you need, or in the case of the pyramids, a location where these massive stones would have been cut and shaped. Yet, no site has ever been found, nor has evidence of a transportation system, which is the next thing you would need for such a large-scale project, a way to get the finished project to the desired location without being damaged. From there, you would need massive machines, excavators, and cranes, none of which the ancient Egyptians possessed. And so on and so on. The point is, a project of this size and scale would have left something behind. Finally, the theory that copper chisels are responsible for the cutting and shaping of the largest and most accurate structure of the ancient world, according to many experts, is once again impossible. Let me explain. Looking at Mohs hardness scale, which is the most accurate and widely used scale for determining the hardness of stone, rock, and metal, copper, which is the technology available at the time to the ancient Egyptian, ranks a 3, making it one of the softest metals known to man. Limestone ranks around a 4, making it one of the softest stones known to man. Now, according to the experts in the field of stonemasonry, with enough time, patience, and incredible skill, copper, along with grains of sand and water, could produce square blocks of limestone. However, the precision in which these right angles were cut and shaped make it highly unlikely, but not impossible. That being said, the same experts point out that the limestone is really not the issue. The issue lies with the interior stone, the red granite. Red granite is one of the hardest rocks known to man, coming in at a 7.5 to an 8. Why the variation, you may ask? Well, woven into the red granite is quartz crystal, one of the hardest stones known to man. In fact, there is only one other stone we know strong enough to cut through red granite, and that is diamond, or in this case, a diamond tip buzzsaw. Now, this is not a question of ingenuity, intelligence, or what the will of man can accomplish. This is physics, math, science. Copper cannot cut red granite, and you can add as much grained sand and water as you would like. It will not matter. The only way to cut red granite to such a smooth, precise, and perfect right angle as the ones we can observe within the chambers of the Great Pyramid can only be done with the use of a diamond tip buzzsaw, according to the experts. Because of the numerous issues with the accepted theory and the fact that the theory itself cannot be proven, leads many to speculate that whoever constructed the Great Pyramid did so with advanced technology. And this is where things start to become controversial, because according to engineers, architects, stonemasons, and just about every other expert in the field of large-scale construction, they're right, adding this is not a question of manpower, determination, or
fucking will.
It is a matter of physics and facts, and the fact is, it would be impossible to construct the Great Pyramid with the technology the ancient Egyptians had available at the time. And this is the great mystery. How did an ancient civilization that had neither the wheel or the pulley system, and whose greatest, most advanced technology was copper, construct this. Well, what if they didn't? Let's check out those other theories. A growing number of theorists as well as scholars and Egyptologists contend that the Great Pyramid is much older than believed and could be the remnants of a much older ancient civilization, possibly thousands of years older, and they point to an ancient site less than 700 miles away in Sanliurfa, Turkey as proof. Göbekli Tepe, human civilization's new oldest temple complex predating Stonehenge by over 6,000 years, has been dated to the 10th millennium BC, otherwise known as the first phase of the pre-pottery age. So, if an ancient civilization existed in 10,000 BC that was capable of cutting, shaping, and moving 10-ton rocks that were 20 feet tall, and this civilization existed less than 700 miles away, the idea that something like the pyramids possibly being older than previously believed is not that far out of the realm of possibilities, according to the experts. As far as what the pyramid was used for and how it was constructed, some contend that it was constructed by the Egyptians in the manner suggested in the first theory. They just believe the ancient Egyptian civilization as a whole goes back much further than 3500 BC. Others contend that it was not the Egyptians, and whoever this ancient civilization was must have possessed an advanced technology greater than anything we know today. Then you have those who agree with the first group and the second group. However, they put a completely different spin on the whole theory that is pretty out of this world. The ancient alien theory, a very popular, albeit controversial theory that more and more seems to produce fascinating and compelling evidence that seem to support this theory that thousands of years ago, aliens came to Earth and either imparted the knowledge and tools needed to construct such an amazing structure, or the aliens constructed it themselves. And as to what this ancient structure would have been used for, well, they contend that the Great Pyramid was actually some type of power plant. And despite the fantastic nature of this theory, the reason its popularity grows, even among scholars, is because, again, there is actually evidence to support this claim. Let me explain. Hieroglyphs and artwork can have many interpretations, where some see an ancient Egyptian symbol, others see a light bulb or a helicopter. However, science is, well, science. And when both zinc and hydrochloric acid were found to be present in the Queen's chamber, as well as the mysterious shafts that connect to it, an engineer by the name of Christopher Dunn proposed a very radical theory that can not only be proven, but explains many of the mysteries that surround the Great Pyramid, because when you combine zinc and hydrochloric acid within a confined compartment, such as the Queen's chamber, the combination of said chemicals produces hydrogen, or in other words, combustion. Supporting this theory was a discovery made within the subterranean chamber, in which researchers noticed cracks on the ceiling of the chamber. Combining that with the water erosion, a theory was proposed that the subterranean shaft could have been used as a type of hydraulic press that would have caused the pyramid to vibrate. Now, because of the high volume of quartz crystal that resides within the interior of the pyramid, others, including Dunn, have theorized that the pyramid could have been also used as a satellite of sorts, because today quartz crystal is used in just about every type of communication and broadcasting technology that we have, due to its incredibly accurate ability to be tuned to a specific frequency. All of that being said, the truth is we may never know the true purpose of the pyramids or who built them. However, new scans of the pyramid reveal numerous anomalies, many of which point to the very real possibility that there are other chambers within the Great Pyramid, so you never know. But what do you think? Was it like mainstream academics say? Ramps, wood, copper, and or could a pre-human civilization that once thrived thousands of years earlier be responsible? Or could the answer be based out of this world, in which gods or even extraterrestrials being responsible for the construction of the Great Pyramid? Leave your thoughts, leave your answers, or any comments below. Also, if you have any theories of your own, leave those as well. How's it going, everybody? Corey James here. Just wanted to say thank you for checking out the video. I very much hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, do the little guy a favor. Hit the buttons, the like, the subscribe. If you're feeling a little frisky, hit that notification bell. Leave me some comments, suggestions on future videos. Do it all. Once again, thank you, and I'll see you on the next one.